Hello, Rick James here. Wanted to document my travels over to Indonesia for my 2-week surfing trip with my favorite YouTuber, Casey Willax. But here I am in the Atlanta airport waiting for my flight to Doha, the first leg of my trip. And then I'll be there for 3 hours, and then I'll be in Kuala Lumpur overnight on Wednesday night. And then I'll get up and fly to Padang, stay there a night in Indonesia before I get on the boat with everybody. So I already have my first 2 hiccups out of the way. I didn't think I'd screw up this badly this early in the trip, still in Atlanta. But number one, I totally forgot to go to the ATM earlier. I was gonna get a bunch of cash so I can convert it to the different currencies I'm gonna be using, and totally forgot that. So luckily I found an ATM here in the airport. It's not my bank, but the fee wasn't that bad, so I don't feel too bad. It only cost me $3 in fees to get that cash, so not a big deal. The other thing is my carry-on baggage allowance. I'm flying Qatar Airways to Doha and then Kuala Lumpur. They're supposed to be one of the best airlines in the world, and they probably are. But I guess I didn't read carefully enough. My carry-on total allowance is 7 kilograms. So I thought I was carrying on a small suitcase and my backpack that I have here. And apparently I only get a total. So I had to check my carry-on bag all the way to Kuala Lumpur. And then I barely made it under the 7 kilograms. I was at 6.8 on my backpack, thank goodness. Because I have all my stuff in here. I have no clothes in here. All my clothes are in that bag. So I hope everything goes well with baggage and getting it to Kuala Lumpur with no problems. But here I am in the airport waiting for my flight to Doha. My gate over there. We should be boarding in maybe 20-30 minutes, I think, for my 7:30 flight. But I'm just sitting here, got my snacks for $10 for 2 little things to carry on the plane, got my GoPro equipment, got my toiletries, my backpack, and I'm ready to go. So I'm hoping, since it's an overnight flight, 13.5 hours to Doha, that I will be able to sleep, although I rarely am able to sleep on a plane. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Might have to get a beverage to help knock me out. I don't know. But I really need to sleep, and then I got 3 hours, and then the next flight is also overnight to Malaysia. So I'm hoping I can sleep again, and then I'll get there at 7:30 in the morning and have the whole day and that night to explore. I can't wait to show you the Airbnb that I got in Kuala Lumpur. It's right next to the Petronas Towers, a place I've always wanted to visit. And so I got a good deal on a condo right there. And so I'll be getting lots of footage once I get there. So I will be back to you when I'm in the Doha airport for my next clip, and I will see you then. Made it to Doha airport in Qatar. It's 106 degrees outside, so thankfully I don't have to leave the airport. My connecting flight to Kuala Lumpur is in 3 hours. So I'm gonna be walking around here a little bit, checking out this beautiful airport. And Qatar Airways was very comfortable and wonderful and great service, but 13 plus hours from Atlanta, flying up over Greenland and Norway and down over Iraq and those places, exhausting. I did get a few hours sleep, maybe, if I'm lucky, but hopefully I can sleep on this next flight, also an overnight flight to Kuala Lumpur. I think it's only about 7 or 8 hours, so not nearly as bad as this 13-hour trip. So I will be getting more video here in a minute once I get down on the main floor down there. Just gonna take a little trip around the Hamad International Airport here in Qatar before my next flight to Kuala Lumpur. Every high-end shop you could imagine is in this airport. Pretty cool little rainforest area they got in here. And apparently if you want to take a little snooze in the rainforest, there are a couple pods in which to do that. Nice little walkway here. Especially nice after 13 hours sitting on a plane, not moving very much.
Secondo me io non lo so, ma secondo me
I'm at the duty-free shop, one of many, and I just wanted to show you one thing I don't think they still made, but apparently I was wrong. Just gonna make one more quick little video before I hop on this plane to Kuala Lumpur. I've run into some issues with baggage, so a little heads up. Just a few years ago, it seemed like if you flew with carry-on, you could also take a backpack with you, which I had, and I booked all my flights with Qatar Air and Air Asia, and now I get all these emails, and I had a problem at the Atlanta airport. I had to check my carry-on because it was over 7 kilograms, and they said that's total. So when you're booking flights from now on, make sure what the cabin allowance includes. Does it include a carry-on that you stow overhead and a personal item like a purse or a backpack or a laptop bag, or is that total, like one piece total, either one of those? Because that's a problem I'm running into. And now I have to pay extra to either check my bag on 3 other flights that I'm doing with Air Asia, or I have to pay extra to have an extra carry-on. So in the future, I'm going to be more careful with what I'm bringing and what I think my allowance is. And you do the same, because it's very frustrating right now. I got to pay like $100 extra to get my very small carry-on either checked or in the plane with me. So my next stop will be Kuala Lumpur on one of these planes, Qatar Airways. It's a great airline except for their little bag issue. Okay, I'm finally at the Kuala Lumpur airport. Been here a few hours actually. Just wanted to wrap this up before I start my next video. This first video is just a quick travel itinerary from Atlanta to Doha to where I am now in Malaysia. Overall, it's been a pretty good experience. This airport's very nice. The only issue I ran into was immigration. I was in the immigration line for an hour and 45 minutes. I had my passport ready. I had my email showing my arrival card that I filled out back home in Atlanta, and I wait in line and wait in line. Everyone's frustrated. The line is a mile long. I finally get up to the counter, show her my passport, show her my email on my phone, and she's like, "Why didn't you just go use the machine down there?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Apparently there's some machine. I could have just scanned it and I would have been out the door. So very, very frustrating. There was no marking, there was no sign that said over here if you've already filled out this card or whatever. So it's very frustrating to have waited in that line forever. But other than that, this is a great airport. Very clean, very safe. And another thing I've noticed so far here and back in Doha, Qatar, when I was there on my layover, is everyone's super nice. I obviously probably look lost a few times. I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, and everyone I come across is always helping me out. They're always pointing me in the right direction, coming up to me, asking if I need help. So very friendly country, very friendly people here. So I can't wait to see Indonesia tomorrow. Is probably the same experience. So I'm heading to Kuala Lumpur downtown tonight. I can't wait to show you my Airbnb. It's amazing for really good deal. So this will be it for this video, and then my next video will be all about my experience in my Airbnb, and then walking around, and then going up in the Petronas Towers, something I've dreamed of doing for years, and tonight I finally get to do it. And then that'll be a whole video, and then my next video will be me in Indonesia getting ready to hop on the surf charter boat. So I will sign off for now, and I'll see you in the next video. to the Airbnb, which I paid $70 for. And I think I got my money's worth. I'm gonna look around here. I'm gonna show you this place. And then I'm gonna show you why it's worth the $70 I paid for it. So you walk in, you got the kitchen, there's a washer dryer in there, and water dispenser, old dining room. You'll notice that this is overkill for someone staying one night, but for the price I couldn't beat it. And you come in here and you got the living room with the TV. Come in here, nice big king size bed for just me. And then a nice bathroom here. There I am over there. Nice shower. From the ceiling if you like. But here is why I chose this unit. I'm right next to the Petronas Towers. I'm on floor 36. I have an epic view of the Petronas Towers. Something I've been fascinated with all my life since I learned about these things. And here I am, staying next to it. Bucket list is down one item because this is high up on the list. And then I have a beautiful view of one of the busiest sections of Kuala Lumpur. This is called KLCC. I believe it stands for Kuala Lumpur City Center. This whole area over here behind the Petronas Towers, there's a mall in there that goes up and down maybe 10 stories. I was just in there a second ago walking around. You can see hopefully in the distance that this town is surrounded by mountains. This whole area of the world is mountains. And then of course the living room also has the same view. Beautiful, beautiful spot. And only $70. And I don't know if you can see that building over there very well, but it is covered in greenery. All the way from the very top up there, there are vines coming down the side. It looks kind of like scaffolding, but it's actually just the design of the building so that the vines and other plants can easily grow on it all the way to the top. There are some over there on that building over there too, but this one over here is the main one with all the greenery. It's a beautiful building, especially on the ground down there looking up at it. I've already visited a Starbucks in one of those buildings over there. Had to get something cold because it is insanely hot here, as you would expect, being this close to the equator. So, that is the tour of where I'm staying for my one night in Kuala Lumpur before I head off to Padang, Indonesia tomorrow afternoon. So, I will be back when I'm walking around tonight, looking at different things in this town, walking down to one of the main walking streets, maybe a mile away from here. So I'll be back with you then. All right, Tuesday night in Kuala Lumpur. I'm getting ready to head down to the street market, the famous street where everyone goes, hangs out, walks around. But before I start walking, here's my hotel with the rooftop pool. It's a beautiful view up there from my room and from the pool. And then of course here are the Petronas Towers that are out my window, all lit up at night. And this is quite the spot for photographs because everybody is out here posing, taking pictures. This is definitely an Instagram spot of some kind. So I'm going to start walking down to this area. It's about a mile away and I'm exhausted, but at least it's cooler at nighttime. And I'm going to get a Grab ride on the way back. Uber used to be here apparently, and Grab bought them out here, so I have the Grab app on my phone, and I think the ride back is about $3, 3 US dollars. So not a bad way after I go get some food and want to get to bed early for my flight tomorrow. So more to come when I get there. Had to stop and get one more picture of the tower over there next to the Ritz-Carlton. Everything here is lit up at night. It's very loud, as you can tell. The streets are loud, the people are loud, but it's a fun place. Some kind of giant open air market out here, which I would visit, but I'm curious to check out the most famous one in town that I'm walking to. I'm curious about this durian fest. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but apparently it's a very popular fruit of some kind over here. But it's funny, I have seen a few of the hotels and Airbnbs that I've looked at, and in the house rules or the regulations or whatever, they say no durians allowed. So if memory serves correctly, I don't think they smell very good and they make a mess. So I think they don't want you bringing them in the hotel room. Kind of interesting little fact that I've kind of deduced myself. Like I said, this whole town is lit up. Here's another outdoor restaurant. That on a Wednesday night is rather crowded. And appears to have valet parking. Okay, I'm a lot closer to that thing I was showing you earlier. The green giant structure looks like the Space Needle in Seattle, or a few others. So there it is. I'm not sure if it's taller than the Petronas Towers or not. I know there's one other building here that has surpassed the Petronas Towers as far as highest in Malaysia. I'm not sure if that's it or if it's the other one with a giant spire on top of it. Another thing I've noticed here, the locals, very friendly. I think I mentioned this earlier. They're very willing to help out. They want to do things for you, make sure you're okay, make sure you can find stuff. The tourists, however, not so pleasant. I've seen a few of them just shove past me today. Not very polite. So the locals, wonderful. The people visiting, not so much. Other than me, of course. Well, this is rather interesting. I had to turn the camera back on to check this out for you. Nothing I really need to say, just take a look. I think that's a giant camel on the side of the bank building. Your guess is as good as mine. Colorful though. Okay, I'm now entering the what is known as the party district. It's called Changkat something. I should probably look that up on the map before I try to pronounce it. But this is where you start seeing the restaurants, the nightclubs, the bars that a lot of the tourists visit. And I looked at hotels down here and there were some pretty cheap ones I could have gotten, but a lot of the reviews said great place, but you won't be able to sleep because it goes on all night, all the noise and everything. So I wanted to get some sleep. But I'm gonna try to check out one of these places while I'm down here. Haven't had dinner yet. It's like 9 o'clock. Oh, that's interesting. Izakaya. Tons of those in Tokyo. Obviously not as crowded on a Wednesday night as you would see on a Friday or Saturday, but still plenty of action down here. So eventually I just got to pick a place. Basically, like you can see, there's some higher end places right next to some dive bars. So everything you need down here. And the street I'm coming up on is the main drag, perpendicular to where I am right now.
Short, welcome.
I think that's the end of the strip, as they call it here. You probably noticed a lot of the salesman types out front. Saw that a lot of that in Taipei last year. They'll do anything to get you in there, tempting you with all kinds of deals. So you just gotta walk past them politely and don't make eye contact. At least that's what I do. But I gotta find one of these places because I'm starving officially, and I gotta get to bed for my early flight. So I will get back in a second once I pick a place. I finally remembered the name of this place. Bukit Bintang. Probably butchering that, but you can probably tell this is the party district. After I turned the camera off, I had about 50 more people try to lure me into their restaurant. I even had a few people sitting at tables inviting me to sit down with them. So I'm not sure what that's all about. I'm not going to speculate what I think it was all about, but yeah, needless to say, I still haven't found a restaurant yet, and I'm starving, so I just gotta pick something, grab something to eat, and get back. I was trying to find this night market, but I think it's farther down the street than I really want to go at this point. I did not bring good shoes with me, so I already have blisters on my feet, and my trip is a day old, so I'm definitely getting a grab taxi on the way back to my Airbnb, and hopefully this won't affect my surfing in a few days. Not that I know what I'm doing anyway. Okay, I finally picked this spot. Not sure you can hear me over this music, but it's this place called Gravy Baby, and they have a really good menu, but I just ordered it's basically like a pot pie full of chicken or beef or whatever. I'm going to show you this menu. It's amazing. So I got this steak and wild mushroom pot pie looking thing, but they have all kinds of different things in this menu. Pasta and really good looking wings, burgers, Tex-Mex, you name it, they got it. But I figured it's named Gravy Baby, so I'm gonna get something from this front menu, their signature stuff. Can't go wrong with that. Really cool place. Yes, I'm one of those guys taking a picture of my food for the video. A steak pot pie concoction with fries and mashed potatoes. Hope it tastes as good as it looks. Okay, before I sign off for the night and go back up to the room before my flight tomorrow morning at 11 to Indonesia, I had to get one more shot of these up here, these beautiful towers. You can't see at the top like I can in this video, but it is insane how many bugs and moths and whatever else are circling around the top of those spires up there with the lights. I mean, we are near the equator in the middle of the jungle in a big city, so there are tons of insects around, but I've never seen that many bugs swarming around a light before. It's crazy. But here I am standing in the middle of the highway. It's the only place where there aren't 500 photographers trying to get you to pay them to take a selfie up with the towers behind you. So I figured it was smart to get out here in the middle of the street where no one is. Maybe not smart, I don't know. But I'm gonna go up to my hotel room now and make a little closing piece here, and then the next thing I'll be is on my way to Indonesia. Thanks for watching. All right, some final thoughts on Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. in my very limited sample size, since I've only been here, about 16 hours, if that. And I'm going to go to bed and get up in about 6 hours and get myself to the train, get myself to the airport, so that I can be there for my 11 o'clock flight. I probably don't need to be there that early, but I always make sure I have a little extra time and not rushing at the end. I hate doing that, it's too stressful. So, few final thoughts here. The airport, it's a great airport. It's big, it's spacious, even though they get a high volume of people there. But immigration, if you come here and you have your passport and you fill out the arrival card online, apparently you don't have to wait in that 2-hour line. There's some kiosk or machine or something somewhere that you can go to and type in some stuff and scan your passport and you're golden. So if you ever come here, find someone, ask them where that kiosk is, and save yourself 2 hours and a massive headache. But once I was out of there, it was very simple to take the express train. There's an express train that doesn't make any stops until it gets to the city center, which is just a mile or so down the road here. And I think that ticket was about maybe $11 US. So that was well worth it to get here, and I think about 30 minutes time from the airport to here. The airport is way, way south of town. So if you rented a car or got a Grab taxi, it's gonna take you a long time to get here. But that express train was quick and efficient and well worth the price. That's what I will be taking tomorrow morning too. If you're staying where I'm staying, near the Petronas Towers, then you have to transfer to a regular line, and that regular line is easy to get to. I think it only cost me like 75 cents. You get a token, you punch in your stop on the machine, you put your money in, it gives you this token, you scan it when you go in the station, and when you're leaving the station that you want to get off at, you just put the token in the machine, and that's all you need to do. It was very simple, nothing tricky about it, and the station that I wanted was basically in the basement of that Petronas Towers back there. So once you're through security, through immigration, all that at the airport, everything is pretty smooth. Now, again, I've only been here 16 hours. I went to the towers, I went to the party district, which I found out is Bukit Bintang, I think. Something like that. It's right in the center of town. It took me about maybe 20-30 minutes to walk it because there's a lot of twists and turns, and my feet are killing me because I didn't bring the right shoes. I bought a brand new pair of Vans, and they're not really broken in. They're great shoes, but not for walking around a big city like this. So I've learned several lessons already. So basically the places I've been have been tourist districts. So you see a lot of tourists from all over. I've seen a lot of people from Korea, a lot of people from Germany. China's a big thing because there are a lot of Chinese that live here anyway, and so it's a popular destination for people from mainland China to visit. So all kinds of nationalities here walking around. So next time I'm here, and I'm hoping there's a next time, I'd like to get a little outside the city or visit some of the lesser known parts and see the real culture, because I think most of this stuff around here is set up for the tourists to enjoy. So it may not be a lot of the traditional things you'd get outside in a smaller area of the country. So that's about all I can say. The food I got earlier was pretty cheap. I always look this up when I go to another country because most people know that the US tip culture is out of control. And so wherever I go, I always look up, do they expect tips in different restaurants and different places where you get service from people. And it's said that it's generally not expected unless you get exceptional service and you feel like it, but there's usually a service charge added into your bills. And on my restaurant bill, there was a 10% service charge, so I know that's what the tip was, so I didn't leave anything. So that's nice to know. It's just like Japan and South Korea, tipping is almost frowned upon in those places. Here it's okay, but not really expected like it is in the US. So that's it for now. I think my next video will be starting in Padang, Indonesia, where I'm staying in a hostel for one night tomorrow night before I meet up with the fellas on the surf charter boat and spend 12 days out there on the Indian Ocean near the Mentawai Islands. So I will go into more of that later. Thanks for watching this. I know my videos aren't going to be great now. I'm still learning the art of making videos, how to shoot, how to film, how to set things up, how to walk around, how to talk, how to make sure I'm heard. And then the second part will be me learning this software for editing the whole thing. So it's going to be a learning curve, but those of you that are with me right now watching this, liking, subscribing, all that stuff that everyone else says on these YouTube videos, I really, really appreciate it. Even if I can't ever make a living off something like this, I still want to do it for fun and show others this beautiful world we have. So thanks again. I'll see you in the next video.